Hello everyone. In this our second class. In this second class, I will be talking about different types of data type, like data type conversion rather. So this is the home page of your Jupyter notebook from Anaconda. I believe by now we are all familiar with the interface, how you can access the Jupyter notebook. So I don't show the how I arrived to this. I believe we are all familiar with this. So I'll just go straight to my folder. So here you can access. Maybe you are using, but if you are not coding in a folder, you will see that some of your code will just come in this way. So you can actually see it here. So if I click on this, let me just click on this. Let me try to, you will see here your code will come in this kind of data structure and algorithm or anything you name your file. But in this tutorial, I will be like my folder is inside desktop. So when I click on desktop, it's going to show some folder inside desktop. So and I use IJAN Python class. So today I'll be talking about data type conversion. So I'm waiting for it to load. So it will display now. Yeah, so it display now. So today class I will be talking about data type conversion. You know, from our previous class I explained data type like integer, floats. We have the text type, which is string, the numeric type, which is integer, float, and complex number. We have sequence type, that we have list, tuples, list, tuples, and what is the, I think, list tuples. Then we have the mapping, which is dictionary, and so on. Though here we can, like, we still have types of data type conversion, because we can convert. It's just like typecasting. So this also works like typecasting, but this one is just like conversion, and we see the, like, how data type is being converted to one another. Though it's just like, I think the process is like casting, like typecasting. So we have two types of data type conversion. We have implicit data type conversion, and we have explicit. Implicit, and we have explicit. Then from the word implicit, implicit is just like internal data type conversion, while explicit data type is external data type conversion. And I'm going to show us the examples and the implementation of all these data types. So now when you see, just like the way I explained variable in from the other classes, like num1 equals to this, I stored 23 inside num1, then I stored 45.4 inside this. The nature of 23 is integer, while the nature of this 45.4 is float, because it has a decimal point, like the way I explained it. So when I use total equals to num1 plus num2, so I'm trying to perform arithmetic operation on these two variable, and I'm trying to print, like, okay. So now before addition, we can see that num1 has data type of integer, and num2, this num2 45 point. So I can print it out now, so that we can see. So print bracket num1. If I print num1, you see it gave us 23. And also I can print, you can see now that the data type of num2 is float. So if I print it out now, if I print, okay, print num2, so we can see it's 50. So we are working with integer and float indirectly. Then when I print the total, total is just like num1 plus num2. You can see that the final result is a float data type. And this is it. I print the type here, float. That shows is like there is an internal conversion that's taking place. So we call this explicit, just because we are not the one that perform this conversion, but the conversion happens internally, like it's internal. So this is done, like This was done by the system. So anytime, like maybe you are working, just because it's just like one is a junior brother and the other is the one is more superior than the other. Flute is more superior. It has more memory capacity than integer. So it use that power on integer. So it's just like there is a conversion, converting the data type of integer to float. So we call this implicit data type conversion. Why explicit? It's just like the way I use okay num1 equals to input. Just because of this input value, it return this number. Like let me just start again. So okay, if I said 45, then it will ask of the second number. If I just say 20, then this is num1 while this is num2. So if I print, I can even do it so that you will see what I'm talking about. So num1, if I said num1, you can see now that this take the position of this num1 is 45. Then if I just print num2 just to see and to be sure of what is going on underneath. So you can see that num2 also take this. So it represents 23. And I'm trying to type to print the type, like data types of num. So instead of it to be number, it take the data type to be string. And this num2 too take the data type to be string just because of that quotation. The nature of that input value affects the input of those number. So then if we perform just like the way I've explained, if we just said t equals to num1 plus num2 and we try to print it out, you see this 45 num1 and this 23 num2. This concatenate, like this, just like concatenation, it concatenate 45 with 23 instead of it to add. But just like we said, print bracket, okay, 45 plus 23, so it gave 68. This is the normal output we are expecting if we perform it with like just normal arithmetic operation. So this should be 68, but printing, instead of it to give us 68, it gave us 4523. This is just because the nature of this is string str, and this nature is also string. That's why it is a like that's why it's concatenated. They bring them together just because it has their natures has been changed to string data type instead of integer. Then so just because we know that, we now want to, okay, I'm just still trying to print out it. So now just because we know that the nature of this input value will be string and we don't want it to be string just because it's number and we want to perform arithmetic operation. So it's just like casting too, but this we call it in this scenario as explicit data type conversion. So we put integer here, then we put integer here. So telling it that anything that comes inside of this should change to integer, and anything that come in this should turn to integer too. So when we print, if I check the data type of this now, so let me just say 23, 23, 45. So if I just say, okay, let me just print it out now, you can see that the like t is now num1 plus num2, and printing t gave us 68. Then the class of 68 is now integer just because we've cast it, and that casting here is explicit data type conversion. So also that's what happened here. We use float to just perform this conversion here, turning this str string input to a float data type. Also, that's what we did here. I input, like I put this float here to change the nature of the data type of this input value to float data type, and we can see that when I print the type of t, it gave me float. So just like the way I did it from the first this thing, so from the first cell, so that's just the same. I'm just trying to try it on another data type. So this how you can perform explicit data type conversion. Then this is str, just like casting. So when I plus it, instead of it to do the normal arithmetic operation, it concatenate them, bring them together. And this is tuple, just like we know. So tuple. So this is just tuple, and tuple equals this. Then we want to, okay, is already the class, the type of this, anything inside a parenthesis. So I explained that from our previous class, that is tuple, and it can be in number and it can be in text type. So also this, we already know that anything here, just like, okay, anything in square brackets, anything in normal parenthesis is tuple, but here I want to convert this to list. That's why I use list at the back. It's just like casting, data type casting and typecasting. So then I print p, then the type. Just because I've used this list, it will change this from tuple to a list data type. Then this is also a list. Anything in square bracket is a list, and this can be changed to tuple. Just for putting tuple in front of this, it turned the nature of this 1 2 3 5 IJAN to tuple, just because I put it. And on the norms, this square bracket represents list, but just because I put tuples in front of it, it change it. Also set, I change this list to set. So this how we perform explicit data type conversion. It's just like the same process as a typecasting. So implicit is internal conversion, while explicit is external conversion that we can do by ourselves. Thanks for listening.